So I guess this is the first iteration of the Movement Podcast. We might have to switch names if there's another one that has the name, but basically I guess we're just looking to have some good fun discussions in the topics, all the different topics of health and fitness. Make it accessible for people, make it fun, make it not confusing, right?
Yeah, sounds about right. Obviously here we got the Movement HQ, our brick and mortar space, as well as our performance clinic that has opened up or will be opening up this month and next month, a little bit of a rolling start there. But this is going to be a standalone thing that we're doing for fun, to educate and, try to reach out to a broader group of people outside of the Barrie area. But
yeah, and try to have fun along the way a little bit. But yeah, I mean, down the line we'll definitely be getting some guests on and having some deeper conversations on topics that people want to know of. So if there's any type of content or topic that you're interested in, definitely let us know, and we're happy to kind of discuss that in a fun way as well, and potentially get some good people on. So this being the first thing, it's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be, we don't have a full script or anything.
You guys should see this setup here. There's just wires everywhere, ring lights in our faces.
Yeah,
but the mics are pretty cool.
So. Yeah, the heat from the equipment is pretty wild too. But this room is gonna be set up hopefully soon, so you'll have some better views to look at, I guess. But just to kind of start, we're going to do some blind rankings to have a little bit of fun with fitness trends. And
we're going right into the blind rankings.
No, we don't have to do that yet, but we're going to end up getting to there. But before we do that, just as a general, overarching topic of a lot of the future topics that we're going to do is, why do you want to be healthy? Why do you want to be fit? Like, is it just to get a six-pack? Is it to look like Arnold 2.0, or is there a lot more to it that people could actually...
Are you asking me? Or
it could be you, yeah, sure. Why do you want to be fit? Why do you want to be healthy?
Oh, well, I just want to age gracefully. That's basically the be-all, end-all for me. If I'm going to be doing something that's fitness related, I am beyond the days of competing for anything, whether that be racing or CrossFit or weightlifting. For me, at this point in my life, I think that there could be more detrimental effects, potential injuries, things like that could be more setbacks than, just training for longevity and training to be healthy for as long as possible.
Yeah.
And, making minor tweaks to this and that, and making sure that the end goal is always in view.
Yeah.
That's the messaging that we like to convey to the people in our brick and mortar space. That's what the programming is about. And, that's what I'm about in general as a trainer, unless people have other specific goals. But yeah. What about you, Dave?
I'm past the days of trying to get the heaviest deadlift possible, the highest Wilks score. I want to be I want to be fit and healthy.
What is your highest deadlift ever?
600 pounds.
Oh, you have gotten 600.
I hit 600 at 154.
Oh, okay.
So not quite 4 times body weight, but pretty close. Now,
shit.
Yeah. But I mean, that's long past me. I don't think I'd ever get close to that. But I remember when I was in university and when I was deadlifting heavy, my lifelong goal was, if I could just walk into a gym and pull 405 cold for as long as possible, that means I'm doing good. And as far as I know, I'm still there. So, but no, for me, I think everybody, I've had these talks before with people that I've worked with, and I remember when I was a kid and you see in the movies of the old person with the seat that goes up the staircase, and I was that looks amazing. I want one of those.
Yeah.
I don't ever want one of those. I want to be able to go up and down the stairs and do everything that I want to do. But for me now, it's be generally fit and healthy to be a yes guy.
Yeah.
Something comes up, you can just say, yeah, I'll try it out.
Yeah.
Right? I'm currently slightly regretting my decision to play recreational soccer because it's significantly more aggressive than I anticipated, and everyone's getting injured left, right, and center. But just to be able to say, I could go out there and I could sprint. I still have that capacity to do that. I still have the capacity to be athletic. I could go on a 10K hike if I really wanted to. That type of stuff. So just not to be limited by what I can do physically, and if something interests me, I can say yeah, I want to do it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Except for the yes guy thing. I think I got a couple years on you.
Yeah.
And the joys of saying no sometimes
Oh.
are just so great.
Yes.
Once you can just comfortably say no to things, this is another thing that's part of wellness as well. Just how often do we find ourselves doing things that we don't want to do because we feel like bad about not doing them? So
Yeah.
that's my only comment on that. That's not really
No, I
it's kind of related to our our general purview.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point because, I mean, fitness, health, there's just, like, it's extremely trendy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody just does what the new thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, before it was whatever the low-fat diets. Now it's like, don't eat any carbs, go keto. Now it's, no, carnivore.
Yeah.
Don't eat anything but animal meats, or
Yeah.
like you have to like do a specific type of training. Obviously there's science behind it, but like there's a big craze on like zone 2 training for cardiovascular health and things, and it's everybody seems to be doing it, but if you don't want to do it, don't.
Yeah,
Find
find
some-
different ways. Yeah, I mean, that kind of will lead us into, I suppose, our first blind ranking here.
Okay.
All right, so this one is going to be for Dave. So the way this blind ranking works, guys, is that I'm going to be providing 5 items for the list, and Dave is not going to know what the other items that are coming are, and going to blindly rank each item as they come, 1 through 5. 1 being the most important, 5 being the least important, based on this current list that I'm about to give him. Okay, so we're going to have Dave blind rank the top 5 things you can do with your health. Okay? So, number 1, high intensity interval training.
Yeah, this is hard when you don't know what else is coming. So like I don't want to be like
Doesn't
too
matter.
aggressive.
It's okay to be wrong, right? Because you don't
Honestly, I'm gonna put that at 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that at 5.
Dave
right?
puts HIIT at 5. Number 2, walking.
Ooh. I'm gonna say walking is at a 2.
Walking is at a 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And you're not limited to like a gym setting equipment. You can just go out there and move. The scientific data behind it as to just the health benefits of being able to walk and doing that for like X amount of minutes a day. Walking is
Okay.
yeah.
All right. This might be a curveball because maybe you thought this was all movement based, but sleeping well.
See, that's why I left. That's why I left number 1. That's why I left number 1 open because like, when I was trying to like make my own list, I had this like top 5 things I was gonna give you, and for me, sleep top, absolutely
Number one
because
the number 1 thing.
Yeah, because if your sleep isn't under control, then you can't take advantage of good exercise habits and physical activity.
Mm-hmm.
Your nutrition starts to go out the window in terms of your ability to stay full or keep on lean muscle mass. So like sleep, number 1.
All right.
Yeah.
And
I'm bad at it too, so it's something that I need to work on.
Hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
We can't all be perfect.
Yeah.
All right. You touched upon it. Nutrition.
Yeah. What's left? I guess.
Nutrition.
Oh, that's the. So that's 3. Then it's 3.
No. There's two. There's 2 more spaces.
Okay, then
you have HIIT at 5, walking at 2, sleeping at 1.
I'll put nutrition at 3.
Nutrition at 3. Okay.
Yeah.
And then last, strength training.
I should have put nutrition at 4. But I guess strength training goes at 4.
4.
So like nutrition's a really broad topic, I feel like.
Yeah.
Of course it's extremely important.
Yeah.
Cuz like
just all encompassing nutrition though
Yes.
is what I'm trying
for
to say.
For health purposes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean 3 and 4 it's pretty close.
Yeah.
But in terms of like just I'm biased, the benefits of strength training. Like more people need to do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people do it and they're like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get big muscles accidentally. And you're not going to do that accidentally. But just like like your risk of all-cause mortality is significantly lower when you actually have lean muscle mass and have function. So
yeah, of course.
I don't know. What do you think? Would you rather have a strength training program that is super dialed in and your nutrition's like super mediocre, or a nutrition program that is super dialed in, eating everything perfectly, and a very mediocre like strength training regime or habits?
I think that out of those two choices, it'd be more optimal being the term, to have dialed in nutrition and a less than optimal strength training regime, right? But kind of what I like to say about it is that you can't look at these things individually, right? Someone who is really dialed in at their nutrition is probably going to be the type of person that takes that care into being dialed in into the other aspects of their wellness, including strength training.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, with the way that you framed the question, I would say dialed in on the nutrition first, strength training second.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about that list if we were to know what was coming next, right? The top five things that you could do for your health, knowing what was coming next. So for me, on this list, I would be going with sleeping number 1, nutrition number 2, strength training number 4. Sorry.
3.
Number 3.
Yeah, 3 does come after 2. Yeah.
I was like, should I just start over or do I just keep going? I think it's better to just keep going. Just roll through it. Walking number 4, and then HIIT number 5, high intensity interval training. Walking and strength training, maybe we could flip them depending on who the person is. It basically depends on what you need more, right? Whoever you are. Yeah. So it always depends. So if someone is a person that likes to walk or does walk a lot, get a lot of steps in during their day, then I would say that their priority should be strength training, and vice versa. Someone who only goes in the gym but then has a sedentary job, sedentary in the rest of their lives, should prioritize walking. And yeah, walking is such an accessible form of exercise, and it's actually insane how much, because the thing with exercise and walking in particular is that you can do it for a long time, even though the calorie burn per se, the rate of calorie burn is so low, but you can do it for an hour, 2 hours, whatever, or in my case, 4 hours every single day on the golf course.
Yeah. Is that cardio? Yeah, it's walking. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's put it.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Let's put it this way: I literally eat 1,000 plus more calories every single day during the summer as soon as golf season starts because of how much I'm walking.
Yeah.
Just walking. I do less cardio during the summer months because I'm just gonna waste away like my muscle mass that I don't want to, right? For hopes of longevity. So dial in and tune the fitness training regime to, what my hobbies and interests are.
Yeah, and I think it's key to point out for people that are just like, okay, I can eat 1,000 calories if I start golfing in the summer. That doesn't count if you're carting it around, right? Like that's a lot less exercise.
Yeah.
And
this
if you're going
walking, and I carry my bag, but you don't have to carry your bag. It's just
yeah. But because again, like then now you're starting to put like, we're joking because then you're putting a barrier on something. If you're like, well, you have to walk or don't golf at all. Well, no, at least you're out in the sun with people doing some movement. Yeah. So that's a good thing. But yeah.
I think what you're going to find with us is that like everything is going to be, taken with a grain of salt. We're not going to give you advice that is pertaining to the masses per se.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to try to give you the best situational advice that we can and, go from there. But with the nature of how we are, we're always going to be having these back and forths where it's like, but just make sure,
Yeah.
The point is not that you should, you can eat 1,000 extra calories a day because you're golfing, right? The point is like...
Yeah, exactly. No, I like, that list is like, if I'm looking at the list and I know what's coming, like sleep definitely didn't change for me. But you're right, like from 2 to 4, I feel like that's very interchangeable.
Yeah.
And I think it depends on like what you value most, what's actually, or maybe just the thing that, obviously if there's something that's you're just not as good at, like maybe you do already have your exercise habits under control and the nutrition is lacking, so then maybe that moves up a notch. But I guess we're talking generalities, and for me, I still think I wouldn't really change my list too much other than like nutrition, strength training, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I still think I put walking at the top just based off of accessibility.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So let's flip the switch and let's do another blind ranking for you now.
Okay, my turn.
It's your turn. So I'm gonna bring up my list and make sure you don't look.
I'm gonna nail this. Actually, no. The type of person that I am, I'm gonna be so hard on myself if I mess this up. Dave, don't do this to me.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about the top 5 most overrated things that people really try to use, whether it's trends or devices or products or whatever, for their health.
So most overrated. So 1 would be the most overrated.
Yes.
And 5 would technically be like the best thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
And let me make this clear. There might be a few things on this list for me that I think are just useless. But just because something is on this list doesn't mean it's bad. And if you like it, that's totally fine too, right? So just because it's on the list doesn't mean I'm just like knocking it. So the first thing that I'm going to give you for most overrated, foam rolling.
Oh. I have a feeling this is gonna be a list of 5s. Okay. Foam rolling I'm gonna put at 4, just in case there's something that's foam rolling I'm gonna put at 2, just in case there's something even more overrated. I mean, I have a feeling I know what's coming, and at the end of the day, if you like it, you should do it, especially if it's not going to bring harm to you.
Yeah.
That's the caveat I will say. But in terms of my personal thoughts on it, 2.
Okay. Ice baths.
Ice baths. Oh.
Cold plunging.
Okay, so I don't know how much I should talk about this right now. I'm just going to talk about it.
Sure.
The benefits of it, I'm not going to necessarily talk about more so than like it is just something hard that is a barrier that if you can overcome it, then you're going to be a hard person in the other aspects of your life. So that is what I'm talking to, the point that I am talking to.
Yeah.
And based on what I think is coming in this list, I'm going to put that at 5.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, I would agree with you because people always ask about it, and I think physiologically, for cold plunges and ice baths, it's extremely overrated what people say it can do. Psychologically is a whole nother story.
Right.
Because like you said, if it's just something hard to do and you're challenging yourself, great. The other thing too is if you psychologically just feel better after you do it, great.
Yeah.
Great, do it.
Yeah.
But it is not, in my opinion, like this amazing thing that everybody must do to be the healthiest version of themselves, right?
Yeah. It's going back to training your mind versus training your body. So people would mostly think that it's training your body, but I would say that this goes into the category of being good for you because it's training your mind.
Yeah. Okay. So next, static stretching.
Ooh. Okay. Duration.
Okay, when
is it happening?
See, this is the thing. There's a lot of nuance.
You need to be more specific here, or are you going to tell it to me without any specifics?
Maybe a little bit of both, but let's just say someone's like, I must do 20 minutes of static stretching generally every day.
If someone tells like that is what I'm ranking,
yes.
Ooh.
So not so much just like if used in the right context, but just generally speaking, does everybody need to be doing static stretching? Is it overrated or is it not?
I'm going to put it at 3.
Okay.
Because I would say that it is less overrated than foam rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be
Myofascial release, as they say.
You put foam rolling at 2. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, I put foam rolling at 2, hoping that there's something even more useless coming.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to disappoint you if I'm not. Because I don't know if I give you the big one of the list. Okay. Perfect technique in exercise.
Oh. Okay. 4.
Okay.
4. With the caveat that this whole list is useless. That's what we're saying, right? So what is the most or what is the least useless of these items that you're giving me? I would say
would be lower.
It'd be 4.
Yeah.
4. Perfect technique would be a 4.
Okay. Gotcha. And then you still got your 1.
I still got my 1. So whatever it is, this is the most useless thing according to my blind rankings.
Detoxes.
Oh, yes! Nailed it! I am very happy with that list, actually.
Yeah.
So we got 1,
Detoxes.
2, foam rolling, 3, static stretching, 4,
Perfect technique.
5, cold therapy. Let's go.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I honestly think that that's probably like how I would list it too. Detox is definitely at the top of the list because the quote that I like is the only thing you're getting out of that is a hole in your wallet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We've got our liver, our kidneys, our body's really good at detoxing things. And I think sometimes people almost use it as a barrier. It's like, I have to do this before I do this. Before I get into my strength training and get my sleep under control and start eating a certain way. It's like, but first I must do this juice cleanse or whatever. And like, hey, if you like drinking juice for a handful of days, again, that's fine. But if you're going out to a supplement store and potentially buying a product that's supposed to completely cleanse your system and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, on the other side of things, I did discuss about how cold plunges and cold therapy are good for the mind. Potentially something good, something challenging that you have to abide to that's going to challenge your discipline and, hopefully it's not harmful to you. So you could come out on the other side mentally tougher, mentally stronger, prepared to do maybe some of these other things or take the next steps.
Yeah.
So that is the caveat we'll say in not being totally useless, but it's pretty useless.
Yeah, in terms of what it says it's doing, you're probably eating less. And
you're just eating less.
Yeah, you're eating less, right? But
the lemon juice, cayenne pepper.
Yeah, I think what going a little bit closer to that would be like if I said fasting or something like that, right? Like in terms of that challenge.
I think in fasting, me personally think that there's some use to that.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree in the right context for sure.
Yeah.
So hey, I would pretty well agree with your order on the list. So.
All right, nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Do we have any others or we sticking at 2 for now?
Oh, maybe we can have what should we do? Fitness fads?
Sure.
Or do we not want to ruffle any feathers here? We'll make sure to add in that we're not saying anything negative about any of these things.
Yeah.
Or, what's a better way to put it together such that it's not creating animosity?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you want to go out.
We could do this. What are the top 3 the trendy fitness things? Trendy fitness fads, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
The top
like in terms
3.
of like modalities or programs you're talking about?
Yeah. We'll go, actually, let's do top 4.
Okay.
And then you go, I go, starting at 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
All
right.
So guys, we're going to do a top 4 on fitness trends or fads or, franchise type of things. And we're going to go from... No. We'll just do the top 4 fitness trend fads or franchises, so to speak. Okay?
Sure.
So we're going to alternate.
Okay.
Dave's going to go 4, and then I'll go 3. Dave will go 2. I'll go 1. All right? So we also have to have teamwork here, right? So
yeah, we do.
All right, number 4.
So if I'm being honest here, there's 3 that stand out to me as like that's what a lot of people do and they're really popular. And if I was to give you a 4th, I'd have a hard time doing that now.
There's some that let's think longer term, maybe not as trendy. So maybe some things that have stood more of a test of time.
Yeah. So bottom of the list is least trendy, or least.
Not least trendy. It's
this is just top 4 things that people.
The top 4
do.
things. One being the thing that we think encompasses most of what we need.
Okay.
From a movement perspective, movement only.
Okay, because I didn't want to throw you under the bus and just throw out like F45 right off the top. Because if I'm being honest, I do actually feel like they kind of generally encompass a little bit of everything.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm thinking I put F45 at 4.
F45 at number 4. Okay, I would have gone the one that I'm gonna say at number 4, But then I don't even know what we're going to talk about for number 2.
Okay.
No, we could. Well, it's going to be on you to do number 2. But
Yeah.
Okay, number 3, I will say Orange Theory.
Okay, that was my thought for number 4 too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would rank.
We're gonna talk about these after.
Yeah, we can talk about the. Okay, so number 2 then, and I don't know. Like, if we're talking stands the test of time, there is but one, but there is a new thing that is significantly more trendy right now. So I guess I would say just because of its novelty, or it hasn't, it hasn't been the last like decade that everybody's been kind of watching this, and I would say High Rocks at number 2.
Okay. We should have probably put High Rocks lower.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
We'll talk about that. That would probably be my number 4 now that I completely gapped on High Rocks. Number 1, CrossFit. I think that out of the trendy fad type things, it's stood the test of time, and it is more overall encompassing of the different aspects of your fitness that are required. Each of these things that we mentioned probably have negatives and positives, and we've kind of just discussed this list based off of what our opinion is, but let's go over the list. Okay, so we started off with F45.
Yeah.
Okay, so in F45, typically it's a 45-minute class. From my understanding, I haven't done too many classes. From my understanding, I haven't done any F45 classes, but people have told me about it. It's interval training throughout the entire class, work, rest, different ratios of work to rest throughout the entire 45 minutes. You're kind of hopping around from station to station. And yeah, there can be some heavy weights, but you're on a clock, on a timer, right? So in that regard, I would say that I would actually put F45 number 2.
Okay.
If we were to do the list all over again.
Okay.
I would put it number 2. And then the next one that we mentioned would be Orange Theory. So Dave, what do you think?
From my understanding, because I also haven't done an Orange Theory class, but from
this
what
is
I
bad. We're talking about this, but we haven't even done it. But, But we have sources that have done this, that have come to our community.
Yeah, and I'm only, I guess if we're talking about this list, we're looking at like what of these have like this most like all-encompassing sort of like, does it have strength training in it? Does it have a cardiovascular component? I'm even looking at things like community and like groups, so that people like motivated to go work out with their friends, right?
Yeah.
And I think all 4 of these have that as a part of it, which is really good because it lowers the barrier to entry for exercise. But I think Orange Theory is a little bit more cardio driven, significantly less emphasis on resistance training and trying to develop more lean muscle mass, which when we were talking about it at the start, that's so important in terms of longevity, right? Yeah. So I think that's maybe a missing
Dave's French and keeps saying longevity, by the way.
Longevity, yeah. Okay.
But we love him either way. No, for those of you who don't know, Orange Theory, I believe they break their classes up into 3 20-minute segments where they're doing some type of cardio, and then maybe in the middle they do some weights, and then another type of cardio, whether it's running, rowing, cycling. But, the weights are kind of in like a fast-moving environment, so it's not necessarily prioritizing strength, right? It might be prioritizing strength for people who don't have a lot of strength, right? So that's the thing that we need to keep in mind. But it is not like a 100% prioritization of strength in any aspect of what they're offering for the hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk to me about High Rocks.
Oh gosh, you put me on the High Rocks, eh?
Yeah.
People have been talking to me about how I criticize it. Okay, let me just say that anything that makes people move or move more is 100% better.
This whole list is net positive. Yeah. All 4 of these things are good.
Everything is net positive.
Yes.
Getting people moving, doing whatever tiny aspects of strength training or endurance training there is. High Rocks is maybe the highest endurance requirement out of all of these things, because it's kind of like it's a competition, right? It's an event. It's a specific event. Maybe they'll say that High Rock's style of training is also a way of training, a discipline in training as well. But it seems like it's competition driven, much like CrossFit was in the early days.
Yeah.
So they have, 10 or 12 different stations that they're doing for their strength based, but they're not really that strength based, right? Movements, and then they do a 1 kilometer run between every single strength based station. So they're doing things like burpee broad jumps, pushing a sled, pulling a sled, wall balls, all these types of things. So the way I always looked at High Rocks is that it's just like an indoor obstacle course, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool.
That's kind of cool and fun.
Which is kind of cool and fun, but I don't think that if you are trying to train to optimize your performance in High Rocks, that is an optimal way of training for longevity. Because I don't think that it encompasses enough true strength training.
Yeah.
Or power development, or some of the other things that we might need.
It sounds like a slightly less fun, like Tough Mudder or like Spartan Race or whatever it is, where like the obstacles are probably a little bit more fun than pushing a sled. But like, hey, I think pushing a sled's actually kind of fun.
Yeah,
like, like monkey bars over water or whatever would maybe be a little bit more fun. But yeah, I don't know.
If you're a runner, you like fitness, you like competitions, you want to do this for fun, absolutely. Changing up your training for 3 to 6 months to perform your best at High Rocks, I would recommend against.
Fair enough.
Right.
Yeah. So then CrossFit's at the top of the list.
Yeah, CrossFit is at the top of the list.
I think we both said it stood the test of time in terms of...
It has stood the test of time. It encompasses power development, strength training, cardiovascular fitness, aerobic fitness, and anaerobic fitness. People criticize it sometimes for randomness.
That would be my criticism.
Right.
But to a certain extent.
Yeah, but the randomness is also a positive, right? Because you're doing things potentially that you otherwise wouldn't in different orders, and challenging your body in different ways, and kind of creating a shock to the body. I think with all these things, the most important thing is dosage, right?
Yes.
Are you someone that's going to literally more classes per week than there are days? Then you probably need to chill. Yeah. Whatever it is you're doing, you probably need to chill. In terms of programming and randomness for CrossFit, I mean, I deal with this in terms of the programming that we do at the Movement, right? So people can criticize all they want about the periodization or lack of periodization or potentially randomness, but here's what I'm dealing with in catering with the demographic that we have. We have people that are ages 16 through 80 plus that are all doing the group classes. Okay, so there's challenge one, which is overcome by having staff members or coaches that are able to provide modifications along any scale.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's written one way or another, if you have the proper tools in your tool bag, that, this is a knee and hip extension. What can we do if this person's knee is hurting to adjust so that they can, manage the pain and still get the benefits of what we're trying to do here. Okay. So there's challenge number one. Challenge number two would be, some people are coming 1 day a week. Some people are coming 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Okay. So putting the same workouts on the same day, some of these people that are coming less will never get to do some of the other things.
Yeah.
So is that more beneficial to have the same things on every day and have a periodized program? Or is it more beneficial to get them to do a variety of things on the day of the week that they do come in?
I mean, I would want it to be on the same day and just show up for deadlift day every week. But no, you're right. Giving the variety.
Should we talk about what's wrong with that, Dave?
Of course it's not right. Yes. But yeah, no, like, I guess my criticism for the randomness is, and there's probably a lot of places that coach CrossFit or that type of style and have enough of an introduction for people and have like those regressions or I guess easier ways to do things to start to work into it, and I think that that's fine.
Yeah.
It's just you don't want somebody who we're talking about our list earlier on that maybe has just been doing some walking for the past little bit, and then they walk into a gym and the first workout that they're doing is Murph. Right? So like, but that's not, you know,
we have a disproportionate number of members at the gym that actually had their first workout.
I know.
But we present it in a way such that no, it is not a 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats followed by a 1 mile run with a weighted vest. It is some combination of these types of movements that is right for you in the volume that is correct for you that you can handle.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think that the approach for like CrossFit style training is fine as long as there's gray area and wiggle room to modify. That's simply it.
The lead programmer and the instructors are really what make the difference.
Yeah.
Right? Not that it's CrossFit or not CrossFit, is what can they do for you, because as we've discussed already, it always depends.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on the person's goals too, right? Because if someone has a very specific goal of whether it's aesthetically or strength driven or whatever it might be, they just want to get better at their 3 main power lifts, then do a program that focuses on those things. Maybe don't do a group class or something like that, but for someone who just wants the general fitness approach that kind of hits and ticks all of the boxes, then I think group fitness is a fantastic way to kind of get started. And that's why I say all 4 of these things on this list are net positive, right? It's movement for people to do. It's good.
It has to be. It has to be net positive. Okay, well, let's talk about training then. I guess we can segue into that. What does your optimal week of training include? Or what do you think would be optimal for a human being? Forget about, let's say that there's no like restrictions from jobs and kids and things like that. If you had infinite time, okay, and you needed to fit in all the things that you can fit in, what are those items?
Okay, well, I'm going to try to stay away from the 24-hour Canadian movement guidelines, because I think that, like, just for reference, that's a minimum of 2 times a week of resistance training.
Yeah.
You're hitting, your 150 minutes a week of moderate to vigorous activity. And I think that those are pretty on point as a bare minimum. But if you're asking me about my ideal, for me, I'm probably looking at 3 to 4 days a week of resistance training, some type of lower upper split. I've always had a little bit more of a bias to doing lower body stuff. I'm looking at adding on, I would probably stick to that 150 minutes a week of moderate to vigorous activity. So you're looking at like a 20 to 30 minute session, whether it's on a bike or whatever type of equipment that you like. And then on top of that, for me, it's just get out and move, walk, play sports, fill in the gaps with that. So my big thing is do something every day. Doesn't have to be lifting, but do something every day. So 3 to 4 days a week resistance training, get your 150 minutes in throughout the week, and then fill in the gaps with the other fun stuff.
Yeah, and you kind of touched upon a point that we haven't really talked about yet, is the recreational sports thing. And I think that that's so important, because where else are you going to run as fast as you can? Right. It might not be very fast, but you want to push the limits of how fast you can run, right? Warming up correctly and everything, and making sure that you progress into it accordingly as well. Like, I think a lot of the times we see injuries when someone does a recreational sport for the first time in 10 years when they're 35 or 40, and they go out there thinking that they are 25 again. They kind of start off where they left off, and then boom, hamstring, boom, knee.
That's me. That's me.
Am I describing Dave?
You're describing me.
Right? But I think that's important. I don't know what the exact number was. It was something like 90%, 95% of adults after the age of 30 never sprint again, right?
Yeah.
Which is crazy, where when we're kids, we're literally sprinting around all the time. Maybe we're playing sports as adolescents, young adults. If you played a competitive sport, you're going to be moving as fast as you can at some point, but we don't do that anymore. And, it's just the whole the old adage of, you don't use it, you lose it. So
Yeah.
the longer you want to keep it, the longer you should be doing it.
Yeah, and that's like I would agree. That's why I've recently joined recreational soccer, because I think to myself, like, when's the last time I had to sprint? Yeah. Even like when I was playing, hockey and stuff like that, I'm not sprinting. I'm a goalie. I'm just sitting there. I'm standing there doing nothing. No.
Until there's a race to the puck.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's being able to just do those things, because like I think about it. This is gonna sound extreme, but like if a bear jumped out of a bush, I guess it depends on what kind of bear. You shouldn't really run away from a bear. An animal that you could potentially keep on par with and run away from. A rabid dog, an angry dog. I want to be able to sprint away from it, right? And like I think most of us probably can't remember the last time we've sprinted.
I think the important point is that we just have to outrun everyone else.
Yeah.
Outrun the slowest person, not be the slowest person.
Unless the dog's got it out for you and runs past everybody else or whatever. But yeah. But no, just being able to do those things. So, I think. You didn't really talk about your ideal week, but I don't know if you have anything to add on top of what I had said.
No, I don't want to. We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah, that's fair.
We'll go into that maybe in further detail, because I'm going to be coming at you with a lot of different things.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I gave the caveat of as much time as you needed to complete all these things, right? So
right.
It's going to look a little different than what is actually realistic.
True.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll think for next time about something just completely unrealistic. Like if you, I forget the guy's name that's trying to live until he's like 100 and something, and he's got like the Brian Johnson maybe. He's just got that whole schedule where he does like red light therapy and takes all these supplements and stuff like that. Like, is that what you're looking at doing for your?
No. I'm looking at like the stuff that's more tried and true. I'm just talking about exercise based as well. Yeah, not the other stuff.
Fair enough.
All
well,
right,
I don't know. I think that's pretty good for today. I guess just a couple of notes is for anybody watching or listening. Make sure to reach out and let us know if there's any topics that you want to hear us talk about. Let us know if we're too dry, if you need, more entertainment value. But also, just what we'd ask you to do is, if you enjoyed this, or if you know somebody that has any interest in this field and you think could maybe learn a thing or two or maybe enjoy this, share with them.
Share, subscribe.
Yeah, that. Like, share, subscribe. But,
come on, Dave.
But yeah, if just think about one person that could maybe this could be of use for them, and send it their way, and we'd be really thankful for that. So,
all right, thanks everyone.
Perfect.